any color distortion or degrading would be instantly recognized. Color enhances the beauty of these settings, and in Technicolor, it's possible to capture the full range of colors in nature, whether it's cigarettes or something else you have to sell. Any picture using a natural outdoor setting is greatly improved if portrayed in Technicolor. In color, dramatic and pictorial quality.
The urge to smoke remains. This urge is the result of a complex set of causes, most of them psychological. Contrary to other habit-forming drugs, no bad after effects are known to result from giving up smoking. The question is then, why do people smoke?
It's sociable.
I never thought why I smoked.
I started smoking when I was quite young. My parents smoke, so do I.
Most people start smoking in imitation of a hero, or because they think that it makes them look important, grown up, or sophisticated, or they just stumble into the habit. But once formed, it is a hard habit to break. On the other hand, smoking is not an inborn, inherited, or natural urge. Beginners, almost without exception, find smoking irritating. Sometimes reactions are quite violent. And yet, smoking is a widespread social habit, so widespread.
This is a small melodrama about a man who has a habit he ought to break. A man named George.
Who? Me?
But to get back to George, you know George, I'm sure. Solid type, 42 years old. Hard worker, pretty shrewd in most things. He's a family man. His wife is a lovely girl. They have 2 great children.
Here he is. Daddy, hi!
You must be tired, dear.
Well, dinner's waiting.
You should have called.
Come on in.
Serious this time? No, I haven't. The x-ray's negative? As far as I can tell, you're all right. But you're pushing your luck. How many cigarettes do you smoke in a day?
Oh, I don't know. 2 packs, maybe more. Depends.
Why?
Why? Why not? You just admitted it hasn't done me any harm.
Now who's not answering?
Well, I suppose I shouldn't, but I like it. I like it. There was a jingle years ago in school. Tobacco something something weed. Dirty weed. Tobacco is a dirty weed. I like it. It satisfies no normal need. I like it.
Look, it's not really logical.
That's all there is to it.
You're not inhaling.
Well, not every time, of course not.
Bet you can't.
Yes, I can.
I knew it. Let me try.
No.
Please, it's my turn.
Who said? There, how about that?
I think you're mean not letting me.
How long has this been going on?
A couple of times, I guess.
What's that?
I've tried it a couple of times.
You're not old enough to try it at all. The very idea of a 14-year-old boy smoking cigarettes.
Gee, Dad, you and Mom smoke. You smoke all the time.
Don't be flip with me, young man.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean...
It's not a question of what I do or your mother does. You're too young, and that's final.
Yes, sir. Dad,
Yes?
how old were you?
Why, I was... I don't remember exactly. But I'm sure I was a lot older than 14. And another thing. Don't let me catch you giving cigarettes to your sister. You hear?
He didn't. It's all my fault.
All right, all right. Go do your homework or something.
How old were you?
About 14.
So what's with the heavy father bit? The kid's only doing
I
what-
know. But he doesn't have to start so soon.
Tobacco is a dirty weed, isn't it? Say, did you ever hear the other version? My children are a rowdy pair. Never heard that? My children are a rowdy pair. I love them. Always getting in my hair. I love them. Much too silly, much too loud. When they're around, two's a crowd. But still and all, they do me proud. I love them.
You stick that knife in pretty deep.
As far as it'll go.
Too far, I think. Sure, I don't want him to smoke. Not yet. But strictly between you and me, what's there to worry about? After all, I just got a clean bill of health.
That does it. That really does it. Doctor, bring on the mountain.
One mountain coming up.
What is this?
We'll be right over. Come on.
Where are we going?
To see him.
Say, that's all right. I'd like to see some of those places for myself.
And there's no reason why you shouldn't. But you'll see lots of other things in the state you might like to know something about. Take that cigarette you're smoking. You may not know it, but 7 out of every 10 American cigarettes come from this state. It begins here. Fields of green, growing tobacco, stretching from the Piedmont.
And don't smoke in bed. You went to bed because you were tired, so you'll probably fall asleep. Too many people have gone to sleep forever by smoking in bed. It is a tragic story. A story that often begins like this.
You kids have got a lot to learn. Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's all right, Millie. It's all over now. Are you sure, Mrs. Chandler?
Yes, Millie.
This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. For the listeners who tuned in to the Mercury Theater on the air broadcast tonight and did not realize
Barns that often contribute more to pride than to the farmer's pocketbook. But some of us wonder, do we need to be slaves to costly bigness, to elaborate construction?
Thank you, Mrs. Carlson.
Seal. That makes you a free woman, Mary. A citizen again. Will you go back to acting now?
Well, I don't know. I'm happy where I am. I don't think I'll make a change just yet. And being in the restaurant business has certain advantages over acting. You can always eat. But the main advantage...
Yeah?
No. It's just that I guess I'm nervous.
Every girl goes through the same thing when she first comes out. Mrs. Maxwell discussed your employment and living plan with you.
She told me all about the restaurant. Will they know that I'm on parole?
The manager, yes, since we made the arrangements, but no one else. That's the first thing to learn, Mary. Don't anticipate trouble.
She also told me about living at the YWCA and that I'm to go on working as a waitress. I can't go back to my own work.
You were an actress, weren't you? Radio and television. No. Nothing that places you before the public. And you won't be permitted to write or speak about your prison experiences, Mary. Not one.
And all expectant fathers. For them, the maternity routine is quite simple. First, you wait. Second, wait patiently, or look like it. And most important, keep from underfoot. The situation's funny in a way until you're the guy who's involved. But then when the important things are happening, even when it's your second or third time around, you find you're absolutely useless. You feel like the 10th man on a baseball team. Who needs you? Wait and wait. Of course she's all right. Kids are born every day. Of course she's all right. Little things pop into your head, like the light in your first baby's eyes when she saw her first Christmas tree. And you wait. And you think of the other side of the coin, the side that reads bills to pay and responsibilities. Sit down.
You're all right. Thanks.
I guess I just got away with the boys.
Yeah, I guess you have. You must have one of your own.
No, no children. That leaves only one.
Predictability to information is science. A particularly fruitful device is the exchange of information at informal sessions. It is here that investigators become aware of the fact that no one facet of knowledge has any priority as the essential ingredient. Facts are needed at every level of knowledge. Frequently, a seemingly unrelated diagram or a phrase sets up in a particularly receptive mind a train of thought which leads to newer and more challenging.
Verstärkte Hilfe zur Lösung des Flüchtlingsproblems. Mit Bundesaußenminister Brandt erörterte der König die Situation in Nahost und das Thema der deutsch-arabischen Beziehungen. Angeregt zur Bildnerei wurde er durch einen Gartenzwerg, den er als Geburtstagsgeschenk erhielt. Das kann ich auch, erklärte der ehemalige Kumpel und machte sich spontan ans Werk. Je nach Witterung wählt Bödecker das Material für seine Riesenzwerge aus.
Wenn Schönwetter ist, arbeite ich am liebsten mit Eisen und Beton.
I have seen people in our business go out and do what normally would be impossible. I believe with all the sincerity in my heart that a man can do anything in life that he wants to do.
By my parents and class environments, which was not naturally my own, but I adapted it as my own, and I wanted to perfect it to the highest degrees. Till finally I had a nervous breakdown, and I came out of it. My hang-up was on the Superman kick. I fancied myself as leader of elite corps that was going to take over the world and all this jazz. It was typical megalomaniac compensation for insecurity and lack of adequate adaptation to the environment, to frustration. So I had this stomped out of me, mostly by a girl.
The wilderness to the nations of the world. For each of these men, working here in the rugged northern provinces, a way of life has been built, and an enterprise of strength and vision created
conservatively. And you've never said no. But, well, although you strike me as an otherwise bright young woman, you've never said yes either. Now, just in case they've escaped you, my qualifications are as follows. Health, clear of eye and sound of limb. Habits, steady and dependable. Prospects, first rate. Intelligence, way above average. And, as you can see, modest to a fault. I am, in short, a good scout. Trustworthy, loyal, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. A prize catch for any clean-limbed, straight-thinking American woman. Darling Kate.
Glacier, and I got started telling them about our trip. You see, we live in Detroit and had never seen the Rocky Mountains. Heading west, we crossed...
You can let yourself drink too much or ruin your lungs or get yourself hooked on drugs.
Just looking over the wolf bait. No match. Huh, thank you. Thank you.
The new cigarette for young Americans.
Perhaps you've also read the warning on cigarette packs now required by the United States government on all produced cigarettes. You hear much talk these days about cigarettes on health. Parents are talking, but so are others. The United States Surgeon General, for instance, issued a report that caused much national alarm. It caused people habit of smoking and about their health. Young people, people in high schools, have most.
Ain't you got no rhyme? Do it and do feel groovy.
But obviously, nobody falls over dead when he smokes a cigarette. You know lots of people who smoke. You yourself may even smoke. Some people who don't common, it does. Well, what are the facts? Just what do we know about smoking, and what effect does smoking have on the body? On the walls of the trachea are the cilia. They are microscopic in size. But if we enlarged them thousands of times, we would... Their purpose, clean the air, sweeping dust, pollen, and bacteria back into the throat so they can eventually mouth. This is what happens when a person clears his throat. This cleaning process is aided by a thin layer of mucus, which is constantly carried forward by the cilia. Here you can see the foreign particles falling onto the mucus and being forward, much like debris swept by ocean waves towards the beach. Deep inside each of the lungs is where air gets into the blood. The lung is not hollow, as many people think, but contains small pouches called alveoli. The wall of each alveolus serves as a special membrane through which oxygen enters the blood and carbon dioxide leaves it. The total outside dimension of the lung is not the important factor. It is the vast membrane area of all the walls of all the alveoli that gives us the necessary space to properly exchange oxygen and carbon dioxide. Scientists have calculated that if alveoli in a healthy lung were broken apart and placed side by side, they would cover an area equal to the size of this regulation tennis court. if a group of alveoli in the lungs were removed or destroyed. The amount of membrane area available to the lung would be immediately reduced. You have seen how each part of the respiratory system does its own individual job. But let's go back to our original question. Is smoking actually harmful? Smoke, like a number of other things, is an irritant. All irritants that enter our breathing system are harmful. But smoking is by far the most harmful. It's not the greatest number of foreign particles in our lungs at any one time, but these smoke particles are also smaller, and it is more difficult to prevent them from reaching the lungs. If you would like to prove this to yourself in a simple experiment, try this. Light a cigarette and place a thickness of tissue paper over the other end. The dark spot you see was caused by millions of tiny particles contained in the smoke. There is no way to keep these irritating particles from getting to the lungs, even with a filter. What do these irritants do to our breathing? Since the trachea and the bronchi are the first parts of the system that receive the irritant or smoke, they are the first parts that are damaged. Remember the cilia fibers and their job of keeping the trachea clean? As these excessive gases and particles increase, the action of the cilia fibers slows down. Over a period of time, they gradually wither and die. While the bronchial tubes are receiving those foreign particles that the cilia couldn't stop. They in turn become inflamed, representing an early stage of chronic bronchitis, or as it is sometimes more popularly called, smoker's cough. Although it takes years for the lungs to become permanently damaged, this is definitely the beginning. Also, nicotine and other impurities are now entering the bloodstream by way of the lungs, and these, like all other poisons, will cause harm to the body. What effect does all of this actually have on a person's life? The first effects a smoker notices are relatively minor, nothing more than a slight cough or raw throat. He will also probably experience heavy coughing upon awakening in the morning. This is his body's effort to remove the mucus built up overnight in the trachea and bronchi, a job usually done automatically by the cilia, but now impossible due to their damage from smoking. Later, if he continues to smoke, he may notice an actual decrease in physical stamina. This doesn't mean that he can't join in athletics. You probably know many smokers who do. But most athletes agree that smoking does impair endurance and the ability to excel in top competition. An outstanding swimmer will still be good, but he can lose the expert breath control needed to shave off those extra winning seconds. He may let the team down. Although this effect first becomes evident with athletes, it is not limited to them. Others notice it too, especially as their smoking increases. These are early symptoms in the lives of most smokers, only the beginning. Bronchitis is beginning to set in. Chronic bronchitis is much more common and dangerous than is generally known. As people continue to smoke, the constant irritation causes permanent damage to body tissues, particularly the lungs. If we could see them, they would appear to be literally sprinkled with tobacco stains, much the same as the dark spot on the tissue made by the cigarette in our earlier experiment. The even more crippling condition called emphysema is the result of the breakdown in the alveoli. When this happens, There are fewer walls left for this exchange. Remember our tennis court? Breathing capacity has now been cut. As more and more of the lung is destroyed, the smoker gets short of breath, even with smaller amounts of exertion. Now, normal daily activities can become major problems. The person is forced to seek medical advice. If he seeks it soon enough and follows it carefully, his condition can sometimes be stopped from growing worse, but unfortunately not completely healed. Much of the harm already done to the body is now permanent, and he must learn to live with it. If he fails to quit smoking and to follow medical advice, he will push this condition until he can no longer remain on his feet. The almost inevitable result is death.
As a physician with the Public Health Service, I work with patients with bronchitis and emphysema. In advanced stages of the diseases, we see them in intensive care units. They need mechanical aids and oxygen to even survive. One usually thinks of bronchitis and emphysema in relation to old people, and to a great extent this is true. However, we're seeing younger people with bronchitis and emphysema so severe that they do require hospitalization. I've seen hundreds of these patients, and I don't really have to ask whether they've been heavy smokers or not. The answer is always the same. They have been.
This man has lung cancer. Is it because he was a heavy smoker? Probably. Statistics indicate an extremely high causal relationship between lung cancer and smoking. What is the answer? Science has demonstrated a definite relationship between smoking and lung disease. The evidence is overwhelming. No doubt, some of you who smoke don't intend to stop. Will you get lung disease? Chances are that you will. Are you willing to take that chance?
And that's their vote.
Wouldn't hire me. We got a lot to fight for, brother. Yes, sir.
That's right.
Got a lot to fight. They got machine to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to cut off plenty of people.
Mm-hmm. And leave them with nothing to live on.
Nothing to live on.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the reasons we got to get them 6,000 votes. All right, if they don't want to hire a man like you, don't want to give you a job, it's all right. But then they ought to be giving you welfare. They ought to be giving you some kind of pension.
Give me something to live on.
Mm-hmm.
Give me something to go up on. If I'm too old for a job, I'm not qualified for a job, see that I get something to live on.
That's right. That's right.
That's what I'm talking
That's right.
about. I don't want to steal.
Mm-hmm. So you have to just
got to try to help myself to keep from the chain gang. I swear to my God, I'm not going to steal nothing. I might not give him no money, but I can see my fist on the pen.
That's one thing they don't want us to do is get that fist on the pen. But we get them 6,000 votes, we're going to be able to really get something.
I think you'll get it.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you'll get it.
Okay, then.
They bought 538 billion cigarettes last year at a cost of nearly $9 billion, supporting farmers, manufacturers, distributors, and advertisers, and adding more than $4 billion to the tax revenues of federal, state, and local governments. Cigarettes are also a costly health problem felt in the United States and around the world by the victims of lung cancer, coronary heart disease, emphysema, and related diseases. A young man who smokes 2 packs a day on the average may lose 8 years from his lifespan. The problem started about the time of World War I, when people began switching from pipes, chewing tobacco, and cigars to cigarettes. This change was important because cigarette smoke was mild enough to inhale, and because women, who had not used a significant amount of tobacco previously, began to smoke when cigarettes became popular. Lung cancer, once a relatively rare disease, began to appear more often in the population, especially among men who were heavy smokers. Laboratory scientists began to look at cigarette smoke. They found a number of substances in cigarette smoke which could produce cancer in test animals. Clinical and autopsy studies of human smokers showed a comparatively higher incidence of various kinds of respiratory system damage and abnormalities, including cell changes that are thought to precede cancer. Finally, in 1964, scientists put the story together in the Surgeon General's report. The verdict was that cigarette smoking is dangerous to health for several reasons. Cigarette smoking is the most important cause of lung cancer. Lung cancer is a quick, usually fatal disease. More than 64,000 people will probably die of lung cancer this year, most of them heavy smokers. Cigarette smoking is one of the major coronary heart disease risk factors, which also include high blood pressure and elevated serum cholesterol. Itself a risk, smoking makes the other risks more serious. A middle-aged man who smokes 2 packs of cigarettes a day is 3 times more likely to die of coronary heart disease than is the non-smoker of the same age. Emphysema and chronic bronchitis is the third disease group associated with cigarette smoking. Unlike lung cancer, emphysema and chronic bronchitis are long, lingering diseases which progressively reduce a person's ability to live a normal life. But serious illness after years of smoking is not the only danger. Impaired respiratory function appears in many smokers after only a few years of smoking. Smoking is a form of personal pollution. The smoker regularly exposes himself to large quantities of irritating gases and particles of substances known to cause cancer. If smoking is so harmful, why do people smoke? There are many reasons why young people start smoking, but whatever these reasons are, it is not for the pleasure that the cigarette produces. You have to learn to like cigarettes. After people have started, their reasons for continuing are more complicated. People who smoke cigarettes regularly have learned to like them for reasons that have more to do with their own personalities than with any effect the cigarette has. Some people smoke to feel good, some to feel less bad, some people to have something to do with their hands. Some people smoke out of habit. Some people are psychologically addicted to cigarettes. Behind all these reasons for smoking is the fact that the use of cigarettes is freely permitted and even encouraged. Many parents and many teachers smoke. Cigarettes are energetically promoted by advertising. Knowledge of the harmful effects of cigarette smoke has produced some positive changes. Since 1964, cigarette consumption has actually gone down after about 50 years of steady increase. About 30 million smokers have quit. The problem of cigarette smoking is frequently overshadowed by the illegal drugs of abuse. Since cigarette smoking is legal and socially acceptable and doesn't lead to antisocial behavior, it is different from other forms of substance abuse. You have to learn to like cigarettes. You have to learn to depend on them. Doctors never prescribe cigarettes, and there is no way to use them safely. Smoking doesn't produce a high. For many people, it doesn't even produce much pleasure. It does carry the risks of serious illness and a shortened life.
70 eggs, and most all of those are fertile, so they come back in a heck of a hurry when they start.
Very satisfactory for lunch this morning.
And leaving a #1 secretary with no place to go.
And one deserving colonel.
Yeah, we've got one here. Only no one's sure what he deserves. So what about the girl?
You wouldn't want her.
No? Why not?
I don't think she'd work out.
Rotten personality.
Take my word. Do yourself a favor.
Does she know how to type?
Oh, yeah, she can type.
Take dictation?
Yeah.
I bet she's got a mustache.
No.
Hello, Bite. What?
Many people who complain about air pollution, that is, dirty air, purposely inhale dirty air into their lungs as they smoke. The dirty air from inhaled cigarette smoke is filled with tar and chemicals. Since we can't open a living person to show just how dirty cigarette smoke is, we will use a model. These jars filled with white filter material are the model's lungs. This filter will collect the dirt from the cigarette smoke. The amount of tar and dirt that the average smoker inhales in 1 month of smoking makes the model's lungs look like this. Quite a difference. Human lungs are very delicate. The breathing tubes are lined with small hairs called cilia. These hairs are covered by a sticky substance called mucus. Normally, any dirt that enters the body is carried up and out by the cilia and the mucus. This is how the body protects itself against inhaled dirt. A person who smokes inhales all kinds of dirt. Only a part of this is breathed out again. Cigarette smoke causes this important dirt removal system to stop working. Mucus and the dirt from cigarette smoke plugs up the small air sacs in the lungs called alveoli, and when the smoker coughs, the air sacs burst. And if much of this happens, the person becomes permanently breathless and then very ill. A healthy lung looks like this. But much of the tissue in this lung has been permanently destroyed by smoking. Notice the large holes. People with lung damage like this have a disease called emphysema. This emphysema victim must carry his own supply of oxygen with him all the time. It is so hard for him to get air in and out of his lungs properly that it is almost impossible for him just to blow out a match.
I have emphysema. The doctors tell me I got it from smoking cigarettes. You can't imagine how important it is to be able to breathe until you have trouble just going upstairs. I not only have trouble going upstairs to ride a bicycle,
Inhaling cigarette smoke can also cause another serious disease of the lungs, cancer. Cancer is a disease which destroys body tissues.
Oh, yes. Yes, we can tell if this man was a smoker just by looking at his lungs. You know, 50 years ago, there was almost no lung cancer in the United States, but now, with so many more people smoking, we have a lot more lung cancer. I'm so glad to see that some people are really starting to realize that smoking is dangerous.
Another cancer is caused by cigarette smoke passing through the breathing system. In this instance, the larynx or voice box is affected. This is the organ that makes it possible for people to speak. Often, when cancer affects the larynx, it must be removed. A permanent breathing hole must be made. All breathing must be done through this hole. This operation is called a laryngectomy.
The doctor told me my cancer was caused by smoking. I speak by trapping air and forcing it out of my throat. But this woman has not yet learned to speak. She has been working at it for over a year. There are thousands of people just like us because my breathing hole leads right into my lungs. I have to be very careful taking a shower, and I cannot go swimming. Water would get into my lungs, and I would drown. That's what cigarettes did to me.
Cigarette smoke can also damage the heart. Heart disease is the leading cause of death in America. Cigarette smoke can affect the heart, starting with the very first puff. This is the heart rate of a person before smoking a cigarette. After lighting a cigarette, look, the heart immediately begins to beat faster. It has to work harder. Let's look at that again. The effects of smoking do not wait until you are older. They begin to appear as soon as you light up the first time. Not everyone who smokes will have lung cancer. But we do know that for everyone, smoking affects the dirt removal system of the lungs. And that for everyone, the heart must work harder with the very first puff. And once a person starts to smoke, the habit is very hard to stop.
Smoking? I don't need cigarettes. I don't need them. I don't like them. They taste bad. What can I say?
I think that cigarettes make your teeth dirty and yellow, and your breath smelly, and your fingers smelly, and that doesn't make you glamorous at all.
I like to surf a lot, and physical activities, like they meant more than smoking.
There are other reasons to ask yourself, why should I smoke? For instance, there are a lot of other things you can buy with the money. When there are so many reasons not to, why do some young people still smoke? Why?
Well, I guess I started because it made me look glamorous, you know.
Well, I smoked because, well, when I first started, it was just kind of like the big thing to do, you know. It was, right now it's just kind of a nervous habit.
Well, it made me, I thought at first it would make me look sophisticated and older and, you know, up with the crowd.
And it gave me something to do and, you know, made me look like a big man.
I figured if it was all right for one of my teachers to smoke, then, you know, why shouldn't I do it?
Not everyone who smokes will die or be sick, but some people will. And now that you know some of the facts, will you smoke?
Call speed. Milder, smoother, less nicotine.
Nicotine is a drug. No, you can't have any beer. It has alcohol in it.
Well, a drug is anything a person takes that changes the way the body works.
How?
Your body is made of cells. Some drugs, like coffee, diet pills, or cigarettes, can stimulate or speed up the activity of the cells.
What would it feel like?
Taking can become a habit.
Like smoking cigarettes?
That's a good example, but it can happen with any drug. People who take the same drug over and over again can come to depend on getting the drug's effects all the time. They feel like they have to have the drug and get very upset if they can't get it. This is an emotional reaction. It's different from a
one separate notebook like this for just science.
Why?
You carry on two notebooks.
I'm supposed to, but I don't. I had a test today on something else. Those are bad.
Why? What do you have to do?
Hey, you guys, look. Hey, we're smoking. Yeah, do you have a match?
Don't look at me, I don't smoke.
Well, what would happen if we did find some matches? Would you smoke one? You did.
Where would I carry matches for if I don't smoke?
I don't know. Kai, it's not bad for you.
Well, you smoke them, not me.
Why would they sell them if they were so bad?
You smoke it at your own risk. It says warning. Smoke at your own risk.
So that doesn't mean anything. Really, that could hurt you. They just say that.
Yeah, it says warning. The Surgeon General has determined that cigarette smoking is dangerous to your health. Who's the Surgeon General?
How do you know it's a real person says that? It's just a bunch of lies.
They say you get cancer.
Oh, yeah, they say who
sure.
Cigarette, you gonna get cancer. You try one, you don't like it, so okay, that's it. At least you can say you tried it.
One won't kill you. You're just chicken. I don't believe that they're bad for you. You're just chicken.
Tommy, wake up. Tommy, it's morning. Wake up.
You might very well save the life of someone you know.
Give you the figures for that, all right?
Modern life is loaded with risk, some of it self-induced.
Come on. The numbers for that meeting, all right? Hang on.
Heart attack is the most common source of the need for CPR. The most common first signal of a heart attack is not a dramatic lightning bolt of pain. It is far more likely to be an uncomfortable feeling, a pressure, squeezing, fullness, or a dull pain in the center of the chest. The pain may spread to the neck, shoulders, and arms, with pain often more pronounced in the left shoulder and left arm. Other signals may be nausea, a feeling of weakness, shortness of breath, or sweating. The victim is more likely at first to be shrugging the shoulders in an attempt to release the pressure he or she feels. Denial may be the greatest obstacle to survival of a heart attack, blaming the discomfort on indigestion or stress. The signals may go away for a time and then return.
Honey? Hi, yeah.
To become the glittering spark of Europe's partying elite.
The craziest party I've ever had was on a little hut on the mountain.